Chances are, if you've ever had a wired Ethernet connection, your setup might look something like this, or you just want to kind of get rid of some of those cords and cabling, and you might have something similar to this in your room somewhere, and that's just not cool, and we don't want all that wiring. So to do this, we're just going to need a few tools that we can use to customize or create our own Ethernet cables from something like this. Now, depending on what you're trying to do, if we have something like this is a 100-foot cable that I do not need, and that's what I'm going to be customizing today. You can do that by creating your own or using what they call a spool of wired or Cat5, and you can buy either 100 feet or up to 1,000 feet and create your own multiple ones. Let's say you want a few 5 feet or a few 10 feet, you can also do that. You just need to buy a spool, or you can just get something like a 100-foot. I think I got this for $10 on Amazon, and you can always use that to just kind of toy around with and create your own from that. But spools will typically run you around $100, so if you're trying to keep it on the low side, I would recommend buying something cheap like that and kind of customizing it from there. But the few tools that we're going to need is something called an RJ45 crimper tool. This is what we're going to use to connect the ports or the RJ45 connectors to the ends of the Ethernet cables. This will cost you around $10. Another thing that you're going to need is some kind of wire cutters. Typically when you buy these, it will come with a wire cutter already. These aren't the safest to use because they don't really do what they're intended to do. I'll show you guys a little bit more about that later. And the next thing you're going to need is just these. These are RJ45 connectors. Let me bring one out of the bag here. You can get about 20 of these for around $5 on Amazon. This is just the end of the cable. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys how to do this, and I hope you enjoy this video.
So all we're going to need is a pre-made cable or the end of the spool. So just take your wire cutters and snip the end of this off. You don't need to do this for both sides. If you do need to kind of lengthen this, you can do it on both sides, but one side should be good enough. We don't need this. So you will see this afterwards. There's some wires in there that we're going to need to get to. So we're going to be removing the gray seal coating that they put on the outside of this. So take your wire cutters and start at the top and kind of just work your way down the side, snipping very carefully. If you do nick one of these, the connection will not work and you'll have to redo it all over again, which is never fun. I've been doing this for a while, so I know exactly what to do when it comes to using not the right tools. So kind of just start snipping down the side a little bit and you will see all the wires inside. Make sure you do not nick those, and once you get about an inch down, you can remove the access cable or the access coating on the side so we can work with the wires that are in here. So you'll notice there's 4 pairs of wires in here. There's a green pair, a blue pair, an orange pair, and a brown pair. Each has a solid color and a striped color. It's the white ones that are not all that distinguishable on this one. Some of them are really nice, some of them kind of not so much. These aren't the most flexible ones. You will find that some of them are really flexible and some are really stiff. The stiff ones are really nice, but kind of just separate them into their own group like I did here, and you will need to be working with these. There's a, like I said, there's a green, blue, orange, and brown pair. Just separate them into the striped and the solid colors so that it's kind of more easily distinguishable, and so we can kind of work with what we need to do and how we need to do these specifically. There's 2 different kinds of wiring. There's B and A wiring, and we're going to do the B wiring part, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what that is. I'm going to put a link in the description so you guys can check it out if you need to use the diagram, if mine wasn't as clear, which I hope it is. So in the bottom right hand corner of your screen right now, you will see the diagram for how you want to set up your wires before we push this in the RJ45 connector. It's going to be striped orange, striped green, solid blue, solid green, striped brown, and solid brown. You want to make sure that your wires are in this exact order, otherwise the connection will not be complete and you will have to cut the head off and do this entire video over. So it's better to kind of make sure that this is exactly how your wires are set up. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt, but after a while you will actually probably memorize this. I know I have, but for you guys who haven't, the diagram's in the bottom corner, and I'll also link it in the description if you need to. So now comes the part where it can be either really awesome or really frustrating depending on how you do this. So we're going to smash all these cords together kind of in one little straight line so we can put these in the RJ45 connector. Make sure that they are still in the order that they need to be in, and take your wire cutters, kind of smash them all together, and make sure you cut them straight across. Otherwise the connection, once you put this in the connector and crimp it, may not be complete, and that's not what you want because then you'd have to start all over. So this is the standard RJ45 connector that we will be connecting to the bottom. As you can see, it does have some gold metal pins at the bottom, and once we crimp this, the wires should kind of snap into that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like a little U kind of shape, and the connections from the wires will actually go down in there, and that's how the connection is made. So you want to make sure that the wires are long enough, and take it and put the prong facing upward and jam those in there, making sure that they all stay in the correct order. At the top, you will kind of see that you can see the cords and how close they are to the top. Make sure that they are as close to the top as possible. Mine's pretty good. There could be a few more in there, but you will see that the brown wire is going to definitely be smashed in that gold prong once we crimp this down. Make sure that they're as close to the top as possible. The closer the better. If not, some of them may have to be recut and resized to make sure that they go in there. It can be kind of difficult depending on the wire that you have. Some of them can be stiff, some of them can be a little bit loose, and they are sometimes pretty hard to get in there. But once we're done with this, we're going to take the RJ45 crimp tool and make sure that the prong is facing downward, because that top black pin is going to go inside of the RJ45 connector. There's a little kind of divot down in there that you guys can kind of see right there that it's going to go down in, and it's going to smash the wire on that, and that's how the connection is made, and that's how it stays in there. So take it. It can be a little bit difficult. You do need to kind of have some muscles to do this. So if you're 5 years old, it's probably not going to be beneficial to you to do this. You might want to have your dad do it, but kind of just smash it down in there, and you should be good to go. The jacket, as you can see by mine, is still kind of in there, and it's kind of not done as well as I would like it to be, but that's what you kind of do when you don't have the right tools to do this. So we made a pretty good Ethernet cable here. Not the best, not the worst, but it's the first, and that's basically about it. There's not much more to it.
Now we just created our Ethernet cord, which is awesome because this is customized to exactly how I need it to be, and it's not just going to be coils of Ethernet cord laying around kind of like this guy right here. So if you have something similar to this, you can always cut that up and make different sections as you need it rather than buying a spool like I said. All of the tools are going to be linked in the description below, so I will also link something to the spools, excuse me, of the Ethernet cords if you do want to try and give it a go at that. This will take practice, guys. A lot of it is kind of just getting your cords right and making sure that it does fit all the way. It's not going to get it right the first time. Trust me, I've been doing this for a while, and it doesn't really get that much easier. It does take a lot, and it does kind of hurt your thumbs after a while, so doing this day in and day out is not going to really help your thumbs at all. So, like I said, links to all the tools and everything used in this video will be down in the description below, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video for the mystery unboxing, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.